Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the live lecture of functional analysis. In the last lecture, we have proved the remaining part of example number 2, that is proving Cn and Rn are the complete spaces or other Banach spaces. The first part we have proved in the previous lecture, that whatever the norm defined, let me just show you. This is a norm defined on Euclidean and unitary spaces. This is actually a shortest distance between the 2 points given by the distance formula, and we have proved this actually becomes the norm on the given space, right? And then in the last lecture we have proved the completeness property of the corresponding spaces. That is, by taking one Cauchy sequence, we have proved that the sequence is convergent and converges to a point in the same space. Okay. The next one more example we have seen is LPN spaces. And in these LPN spaces, first we have tried to understand what is LPN spaces, and later under this LPN spaces with the norm p equal to summation mod x I raised to p raised to 1 by p. Our aim is to show that this LPN is the Banach space, right? For this, again, two steps we have followed. In the first step, we have proved this whatever the norm given satisfies all the four conditions of norm definition. Okay, just a minute. Okay, then later this fourth condition I kept for homework. Have you tried to solve this one? Have you completed? Okay, have you tried to prove this? Any difficulty with the proof of this fourth property? If you have, you can ask me. Hmm? No difficulty?
No, ma'am.
Good. Now we will go for the next point of the syllabus, subspace of a non-linear space and subspace of a Banach space as well. We are familiar with the concept of subspace of a vector space, no? What is subspace of a vector space? Yes? Yes, students. What do you mean by subspace of a linear space or a vector space? Two conditions should be there, no? Suppose we wanted to find out, suppose we have a vector space V and we wanted to show that S is a subspace of this linear space or vector space V. We first show that S is a subset, and secondly, S is a vector space itself, right now? Now, in order to show that it is a subspace of a norm linear space, first condition should be the corresponding space should be a subspace, and one more condition it should have is whatever the norm defined on the subspace, it should be restriction of the norm defined on the linear space. Let me write in detail. Let X be a normed linear space. X be a normed linear space, X together with this norm, this is the notation. Okay, and now we wanted to show that, or we wanted to check, or we wanted to prove that Y is a subspace. Okay, then we were assuring that Y, first it is a non-empty subset. Correct, no? Be any non-empty subset of X. Okay, now we were going to check Y with another definition, say norm Y. Someone may write norm X also here. Okay, means this norm is a norm acting on X and norm Y is a norm acting on Y. Then this is a subspace of normed linear space X if, what if? Two conditions it should have. First condition is Y is subspace. Y is subspace of linear space X. Right? Y is, first of all, it should be a subspace. And the second condition we will write is norm Y of any T is equals to norm of T for all t in y. For all t in y. Let us try to understand the meaning. Suppose this is my linear non-linear space X and this is the norm acting on the space. Somewhere here we have a subspace and the norm acting on this subspace is norm y. Correct? Now if I select any arbitrary element t of y, may I say the element is surely member of X as well? T is in Y implies T is in X. Therefore, what restriction, what is the second condition says that norm of T is equals to norm Y of T. That is, if you calculate the distance of any point, any vector in the subspace Y from the origin, though you consider it as a member of Y or member of X, the distance should be equal. The distance should be equal. Or in the other sense, one can say that this norm Y is restriction. Once we have discussed about restriction and extension function, right? No, I think you might be remembering this. Therefore, here norm Y is a restriction of norm function, or one can say norm is an extension of norm Y. Is that okay? Sometimes this is also called as norm Y is a norm induced by this norm. Induced by this norm on X. Correct now? Because this norm gives me a definition of this norm. That's why one can say that norm Y is a norm induced by the norm on the space X. Is the definition clear to everyone? Subspace of normed linear space. Okay. First condition tells that it should be a subspace. Second condition tells that the both norm of a vector y under the subspace and the linear space should be same. Okay. Now with the help of this, we were going to prove some 2-3 important theorems. The first one under this is every complete subspace of a non-linear space is closed. Let me write a definition. Let me write this statement. Every complete subspace of non-linear space is closed. Okay? Or one can write, let Y be, capital Y be a subspace of norm-linear space X, norm-linear space X, then if Y is complete, then prove that Y is closed. What is the meaning of closedness property? Subspace is said to be closed. When we say it is closed, because here we wanted to prove Y to be closed, no? What should be my aim to prove this theorem? Yes, students, you have to speak with me. What should I prove in order to prove Y is closed? Hello? Whether students are listening to me?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the meaning of Y to be closed? Y is closed, we wanted to prove. Complete, it is given. Now we know what is complete, no? Because just now we have recalled it. If we start with a Cauchy sequence, one has to prove this is to be convergent in the same space. Now what should I prove in order to prove Y is closed subspace? Students should answer me. You may go wrong, no doubt. No problem actually. No one knows what is closed subspace? Count I'm observing on my screen. So 31 students are there, right? From 31 students, whether anyone knows what is the definition of a closed space?
It should equal to its all limit points. It's y
Yes,
equals to y bar.
very good. Okay, therefore, what is the meaning to prove actually? We should, how should I prove this? In order to show that this is equal to the set of all limits point, y equal to y closure. What's the way to prove? Okay, our aim is to show that the set contains all its limit points, right? Therefore,
Yes,
can we
ma'am.
start with one limit point and we will show that that arbitrary limit point is in the same set? Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Therefore, what I'll do, I will start with one limit point of the set. Okay. Here first, let me just make it clear that to prove that y is closed. Okay. What we wanted to show actually, y contains all its limit points, right? Okay. Therefore, let me just write, let some x be limit point of y. X be limit point of y. Actually, whenever we are writing the proof, no, one should be clear that what is the aim to prove. Because according to the aim, we have to make the assumptions and we have to go for writing the proof. There is no need to by heart the proofs, right? That's why I'm asking you what we wanted to prove. Okay. Now here we have started with x to the limit point. Now what is the meaning of x as a limit point? Yes, what is the meaning of x to be a limit point? May I say there exists a sequence? There exists a sequence, say yn in y, such that, what such that? This yn converges to x as n
And
tends to
tends to
infinity.
infinity.
Correct, no? X is a limit point means there exists a sequence yn in y such that yn converges to x in uh, yn converges to x as n tends to infinity. Now, if yn is convergent, may I say yn is Cauchy as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This first I will write. This implies yn is convergent sequence in y, but we know every convergent is Cauchy. Therefore, can I write this yn is Cauchy sequence in y? Yn is
Yes, ma'am.
Cauchy sequence in y. Now, if yn is Cauchy sequence in y, but what is my assumption? Y is complete, correct? No? Now, what this y
Yes, ma'am.
complete tells me? Since y is complete, yes, since y is complete, whatever is the limit point of this sequence, that is x, must be in y, no? Since y is complete, may I write directly x is in y?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. If x is in y, what we have proved then? We have started with x to be any arbitrary limit point and we have proved that that arbitrary limit point is in y. Therefore, may I say y contains all its limit points. Is the proof difficult?
No, ma'am.
Yes. Therefore, may I write y is closed. Therefore, what we have proved? Thus, every complete subspace of normed linear space is closed. Okay. Now, what about the converse of the statement? Converse need not be true. Okay. Converse need not be true. Converse need not be true. Okay. But the converse is true in Banach space. Let me write this. We will prove also. But converse is true in Banach space. What is the statement? Converse statement? What is the converse statement? Every closed subspace of Banach space will be Banach, because we were writing converse is true in Banach spaces. Okay, let me write the statement. Every closed subspace of Banach space is complete. Or one can write it again. Let X be a Banach space, Y be a subspace of X say. Okay, what we wanted to prove, if Y is closed, implies, or then prove that Y is complete. Okay, now here we will start with prove. Our aim is to prove that Y is complete. What one has to prove in order to prove Y is complete? We will start with one Cauchy sequence and we will prove the limit point is in the same space. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Therefore, let me start with let Yn be a Cauchy sequence in Y. Okay, but what Y is? Y is closed subspace of a Banach space. This is the situation, no? This is Ex and this is Y. Now, whatever the sequence Yn we were claiming, which is Cauchy in Y, may I say it is Cauchy in X as well? Because Y is subspace of X. This implies, may I write, sequence Yn is Cauchy in X. But what is X given to us?
Banach
Banach
space.
space.
Banach space.
But X is Banach space, with what it implies? This sequence Yn converges to say Y, correct? Converges to say Y in capital X. Correct now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yn, that is sequence Yn is convergent in X. What we wanted to show actually, Y is complete.
Y is complete.
Therefore, this limit point should be in Y, no? Y, the limit point should be in Y. But what we have got initially, this limit point Y is in X. But what is one more assumption with us? Y is closed. Right now, if this is a sequence converging to Y in X, then may I say this Y, small y, is a limit point of capital Y?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Therefore, may I say this shows that this small y is a limit point of capital Y, a subspace Y. Okay, but as this Y is closed, since Y is closed, what is the closeness property tells us? This limit point must be in capital Y. Right? This limit point must be in capital Y. Therefore, sequence Yn converges to Y in Y. Thus, we have sequence Yn converges to Y in capital Y. Correct? Therefore, may I say Y is complete. Okay? In other words, as this closed subspace of a Banach space is complete, now surely this is closed subspace of a norm-linear space. If we satisfy that restriction property, it will be a norm-linear space added with completeness. Therefore, one can say that closed subspace of a Banach space is Banach. Closed subspace of Banach space is Banach. Okay, let us write this as a remark. What is the first remark we were writing? For a Banach space, Y closed implies and implied by Y complete. Right? Right now?
Yes, ma'am.
What about arbitrary subspace of a Banach space? Subspace of Banach space need not be Banach. Need not be Banach, but may I write closed subspace of Banach space is Banach. Closed subspace of Banach space is Banach space. Is it okay? Why closed subspace of Banach space is Banach? Because just now we have proved whenever we have a closed subspace of a Banach space, it is complete. And surely it has to be non-linear space. Therefore, closed subspace of Banach space is Banach. Okay. Any difficulty in the two theorems?
No,
First
ma'am.
theorem we have proved complete subspace of non-linear space is closed. Then we have proved closed subspace of Banach space is complete. Let us go to the next point of the syllabus. This is quotient norm space. You are familiar with this word quotient, no? Where you have heard this word quotient? Algebra, right? Which point you have studied? With the name quotient. Yes? Which point you have studied with this name quotient?
Quotient group, quotient space.
Yes, it is quotient group, quotient ring, quotient space, right? No? Can anyone tell me why the name is quotient? What is the meaning of quotient? Word quotient? Meaning of the word quotient? Quotient या शब्दाचा अर्थ काय? Quotient मराठीत सांगू शकता? क्वोशंट करतो ना आपण, म्हणजे काय करतो? अरे मराठीत
Divide.
येस वी डिवाइड. भाग घालतो ना आपण, भाग घालणे, डिवाइड
Yes,
करणे,
ma'am.
पार्टिशनिंग करणे, क्वोशंटिंग करणे, राइट? Whether you have the question that why the name is quotient group, how it makes the division of the group. Can anyone tell me how this, whatever quotient group concept we have studied, how it is making the division of your group? How it is quotienting your group? Quotienting. What is the meaning of the word quotienting? This is divide. This is partition. Right? I can write in Marathi also. भाग घालणे ना. भाग घालणे, तुकडे करणे. Correct ना? These many words meanings we have with us for the word quotient. Can anyone tell me how the quotient group gives you the division? Let us try to understand. Let me take a simple example. Suppose G is a group I am considering. A simple group 1 minus 1 I minus I. Is it a group? Is it a group? Under which operation it is a group?
Multiplication.
Yes, it is
Multiplication.
multiplication. Dot we were using, right? Okay. Now, if I want to find out the, if I want to construct the quotient group, what subgroup we should find out? G by H if I want to write, say. What is the condition on this H?
It should be normal.
It should be normal. Can you tell me a normal subgroup of this group G? What is the nature of this group? Is it abelian or not?
It is abelian.
Yes, it is abelian. Therefore, what about every subgroup? Is it normal or not? Yes, it is normal. No.
Normal.
Yes, therefore, what is the job to find out? Any subgroup. Okay. For the sake of convenience, let me take this as a subgroup. Whether it is a subgroup of G or not.
Yes,
It is a,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, it is a subgroup. Right. Now, whenever you are writing a quotient group, what is the nature of the elements in this group? Nature of elements. Cosets, no? Either write cosets or left quotients, provided this A is in G, correct? See,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
giving a simple example to make you understand that why the word is quotient, how it is making the quotienting, right? Okay, these are the left or right quotient. Let me just write down all the right quotients of H. H1. What is H1? Let us multiply by 1 to this group. Is it 1 minus 1? What is H minus 1?
Minus 1, 1.
Yes, it is minus 1, 1. What is HI?
I minus I.
Yes, it is I minus I. And lastly, what is H minus I?
Minus I.
I.
Minus I. Now, actually, these two are same, no? Because we were writing it in the set, and these two are same. Same. Okay. Therefore, how many quotients you have obtained? How many different quotients, rather, I will tell you. How many different quotients you have obtained?
2.
2
2.
different quotients, right? And one is 1 minus 1. Second is I
I minus I.
minus I, right? Therefore, what is the nature of element in this quotient group we have written? These are the sets. Okay. Therefore, if you just check this G, I will write the elements like this: 1 minus 1, I and minus I. Then, what kind of partition we have made? 1 minus 1 we have taken in one set. I minus I we have taken in another set. Therefore, this is the partitioning we have made. This is the partitioning. This is the quotienting with the help of this normal subgroup H. Therefore, here H divides G. Right now?
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
Or
Yes,
with
ma'am.
the help of H, G is partitioned. Correct now? G चे तुकडे केले ना आपण quotienting, partitioning. That's why the name of this group is quotient group. It is dividing your group into parts. Two parts it is making. Right? Same aspect is true for ring and same aspect is true for the space as well. Now today we were extending the concept of quotient space to quotient norm space. Is that okay? Whether you have understood the meaning of the word quotient, why it is quotient to
Yes,
group.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
आधी माहिती होतं का आपल्याला हे?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Very
ma'am.
good, very good. Okay, now quotient ring I will not repeat. We will jump directly to the quotient spaces. Okay, now what about quotient spaces? I think you might be knowing that whatever is the concept of normal group is actually same as ideal in ring. Right now, right now. And that we were considering to subspace in the corresponding vector spaces. Correct? No? Now, what is the quotient norm space that we wanted to check? Let us try to study. Quotient norm space. Directly, I'll go to quotient norm space. Here, we will consider M to be a linear subspace of X. Let capital M be linear subspace of a linear space X. Right? Linear space X. In case of space, can you tell me how this quotienting is performed? Yes, students. This is M, linear subspace, right? Now, how should I make the quotienting with the help of this set M? As of with the help of this binary operation multiplication, we have given the quotienting of G with the help of H. Similarly, in ring, actually with the help of addition and scalar multiplication, we were defining the quotienting. That of in space, how this partitioning is made? This is made with the help of an equivalence relation. I think all of you are familiar with what is an equivalence relation. Right now, therefore here we were going to establish one equivalence relation, and the equivalence relation we were establishing like this. If x1, x2 are the two elements in X, okay, these are called equivalent. These are called equivalent modulo m. Modulo m relation we were using. Equivalent modulo m if. What if? If x1 minus x2 is in m. If the difference of two elements is in m, then we were saying the two elements are equivalent modulo, sorry, m, x I have written. This is m. Equivalent modulo m. Okay, and we write this as the symbol we were going to use is x1 mod equivalent. This is the symbol for equivalence or congruence, one can say. X1 equivalent to x2 mod m. Okay, this is actually one relation, and this is an equivalent relation. One can check how this is equivalence also. Okay, how this is equivalence? How many properties it has to satisfy? Three properties, right now? Which three properties it has to satisfy? Yes, students, when you are going to say the relation defined is an equivalence relation. Yes?
Reflexive, symmetric आणि transitive.
Very
हे तीन
good.
properties आहेत.
Reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Let us check whether the relation we have defined. What is the relation here? x1 related to x2 if and only x1 minus x2 is in m, no? Right now? And that relation we were writing like this. This is a symbol we were using to write it. Okay, first let me check reflexive property. Okay, what to prove in reflexive? x1 related to x1, no? That is x1 equivalent to x1 mod m. Right now? Okay, but when we were saying x1 is equivalent modulo m if x1 minus x2 belongs to m. Let me consider what is x1 minus x1 then. What is x1 minus x1? 0, na? Whether 0 is in m or not? Whether 0 belongs to m or not? Are you confused whether 0 is a member of this space m or not? Huh? 0 आहे का m मध्ये? माहित नाही का आपल्याला? Rutuja, you have to speak with me. Huh? If it is there, why this 0 is in m? This is another question. Zero is in m or not? If it is there, what is the reason that 0 is in m? You have to answer me, otherwise I am not going to proceed to the next step.
M is subspace of linear space X.
And what is the sub property of the vector spaces? It should have additive identity, that is, it should have a zero element, right now. It is one of the property of the linear spaces. Okay, therefore may I say x1 congruent to x1 mod m, reflexive holds, right? Now next, number 2 property, I have to check symmetricity, that is, if x1 related to x2 implies and implied by x2 related to x1. Alright, implies x2 related to x1. Okay, that is x1 congruent to x2 mod m. Then it will imply x2 equivalent to x1 mod m. Right now? Now, if I have x1 equivalent to x2 mod m. What is the meaning? x1 minus x2 is in m, right now? If x1 minus x2 is in m, what is your opinion about x2 minus x1? Yes, if x1 minus x2 is in m, may I say x2 minus x1 is also in m? Why? Yes, why? If I am writing any x is in m, now I am claiming minus x is in m, no? Why? Kai,
The
madam,
inverse
one
property.
False element present.
Yes, yes. Can you repeat, please? Kulkarni, can you repeat again?
Inverse property.
Yes, additive inverse specifically. Correct, no? This is additive inverse, right? Therefore, x2 minus x1 is in m. If x2 minus x1 is in m, can I write x2 congruent to x1 more m? Therefore, symmetry hold. Okay. Let us prove transitivity. x1 related to x2, x2 related to x3. This should imply, yes, what should it imply? x1 related to,
X3.
very good, that is x1 congruent to x2 mod m, x2 congruent to x3 mod m. What is the aim to show? x1 congruent to x3 mod m. Let us write one by one. If x1 congruent to x2 mod m, can I say x1 minus x2 is in m? And x2 congruent to x3 mod m, may I write x2 minus x3 is in m? If these are the two elements in m, whether the addition is in m or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Why? What is the reason? What is the reason? If the addition of the two elements should be there in the same space. What is the
Closed
reason?
under addition.
Yes, it is closed under addition. Okay. Then what is the addition? Minus x2 plus x2 cancels. We remains with x1 minus x3 is in m, which proves that x1 is congruent to x3 mod m. Thus, we have proved all the three properties. Whatever this relation we have written is an equivalence relation. May I write? Thus, this is an equivalence relation. Right now, again we know the important property of the equivalence relation. No, this equivalence relation divides the given space into the equivalence classes. Why this is so? Because of this property. Whenever we were writing two equivalence classes are equal, okay. What is the property of the two? If A and B are the any two elements of the corresponding space, then the equivalence classes of the two elements are either disjoint or exactly same. Right now, therefore, whenever we were having the equivalence, whenever we have a vector space, the equivalence classes makes a partitions like this. Correct? No, these are the partitions. Correct? No, like this, it is going to make the partitioning. Okay, it is going to make the quotienting. I can say. What kind of nature of element is there? Every set, every class. How can I write? What is the nature of element in this quotient space? Then we were writing the quotient space. Whatever this, we were writing this as x by m. Correct now? And what is the nature of element? Is of the type, again cosets, no? Such that x is in x. Are you getting me or not? Or I can write x by m is equivalence class of x for all x in x. Both are same. Right now? Now one may have a question how these two are same. Let me just tell you again how these two are same. Let me write equivalence class of x. What is equivalence class of x? This is collection of elements y such that y is congruent to x mod m. Right now? हे दोन्ही सेम कसे आहेत क्वेश्चन पडला की नाही पडला बघूया collection of all such a y such that y is equivalent to x we were collecting right now. But what is the definition of our this equivalence relation is whether it gives me y minus x is in m right now. Y minus x is in m means what? Y is equal to some element say small m in m. Therefore, what is the nature of your y? What is the nature of y? Is it of the type x plus m such that m is in m? Okay. Therefore, may I write the nature of element in this equivalence class of x is of the type x plus m provided m is in m. Okay. And that we were writing as x plus m. Getting me?
Yes,
Whatever this collection of all equivalence classes, this is a vector space. And this is a vector space and this is a vector space under two operations. Correct? Under which two operations? Thus, x by m is a linear space. Okay, in the linear space under addition and scalar multiplication defined as. How this is defined? You all are familiar with this. I am just making it recall. X plus m plus y plus m. If these are the two elements of the linear space, then how it is added? X plus y plus m. Right now?
Yes, ma'am.
What is scalar multiplication? This is alpha x plus m. Right? What is the zero element of this space? What is the zero element of the space? X by m?
only.
Huh? Hello?
M.
Yes, it is m. Zero element of x by m is m. Okay. Do you know why the operations are defined like this? Yes or no? You have to reply. So that I have to decide whether to tell this or not. Or shall I continue as it is? Do you know how these operations are defined? Addition and scalar multiplication. You might be knowing this, I think. Okay, but what we have proved, this x by m is the quotient space we have proved. Now we were going to define the norm on this quotient space, and we will check whether the norm defined is actually a norm, whether it is giving us the distance. Therefore, let me just write down the definition of a quotient space. What is the definition of a quotient space? The linear space x by m, where m is subspace of x is called quotient space. Is called quotient space of x modulo m if the operation addition and scalar multiplication defined as. Actually, I have written previously. Let me just repeat. This is x plus m added with y plus m is defined as x plus y added with m. Okay. And alpha into x plus m is defined as alpha x plus m. Okay. Now, what is the job next? The theorem we were going to study next is that we were going to define a norm on it. We will check whether it is actually a norm defined, and then later we will check whether this quotient space is a Banach space or not. Whether this quotient space is a Banach space or not. Therefore, let me write a statement of the theorem here. Okay, let X be a normed linear space over the field F. Over the field F, M be closed subspace. M be closed subspace of X define. What I am going to define here? See, norm 1 I am going to define. Norm 1 is another norm. Okay, define norm 1 on X by M to R by. How it is being defined? Check. Norm 1 of X plus M is equal to inferior norm of X plus M such that M is in M. Okay, then prove that this norm 1 is a norm on X by M. Okay, and later one more point we wanted to prove is if X is Banach space, then prove that X by M with this norm 1 is also a Banach space. Okay, first we'll try to understand how this norm 1 is defined, and then we will try to understand how it is giving us the distance, and then later we will go for the proof of this. Okay, how many steps to follow again? 2 steps to follow. In the first step, we will prove this is a norm. In the second step, assuming X is Banach space, that is complete, we will prove that this space is also complete. Okay, look at the norm, how the norm is defined. Actually, I have shown you the diagram, how this X by M is going to be there. How this X by M space going to look like? This is making some partitions, right now? These are some partitions it is going to make. Okay, but what I am going to show you how to find out the distance. That is, this M itself is one of the element, no? What is the nature of element in this? X1 plus M, X2 plus M, correct, no? So on. 0 is also an element of M. Therefore, somewhere here we will have 0 plus M, no? And 0 plus M is M, which is actually the identity element of the space. Okay. But let me just show you by showing the identity element. So this is an identity element. This is my X by M. Okay. Now, norm 1 of X plus M we wanted to define. Norm 1 of X plus M. This is X plus M. Okay. How it is defined? Inferior norm X plus M. Okay. Let me fix one point somewhere here. X. This is M. This is M. And here it is somewhere X. Now, what we will do, we will try to join this X with the elements of M. What is the nature of element here? Let me call this is M1, let this be M2, and so on. All the elements we will name. Okay. And then, we again, for the sake of showing you the interpretation, let me join with the straight distance. So, I am going to join all these distances. Let me join this point X with all the points of M. Correct? Getting me? I will join this like this. This is the points which I have joined. Okay. This is actually norm of X plus M, no? Okay? Norm. We will join everything. Norm of X plus M. Yes or no? And then?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
then
ma'am.
what is X plus M? If X is here, M1 is here. Somewhere here it is X plus M1. Somewhere here it is X plus M2. And whatever this space, will be formed, we will call it as x plus m, right? This is x plus m2. Somewhere here it is x plus mn and continue. Okay. Now, as this x plus m is a subspace, this is going to contain 0. Somewhere here, let me write the 0 of the corresponding space. Now, what we will do? We will join all the distances. These distances are not useful. Here, I have to join these distances. X plus m with origin. Okay. And if I join all the distances, will give me norm of x plus m1. Right? Norm of x plus m2 and so on. And next, after finding all these norms, what we are interested in finding? Inferior. That is smaller value among this. Whatever is inferior, no, whichever will be smaller among this, we will take and will be the norm of x plus m. Okay, this is x plus m. This is m. This is treated as the origin or the zero element, right? No, and this is our space. How to find out the distance between these two? Join every element of x plus m with the origin. Take the inferior distance. Take the inferior, that is the smaller distance. And whatever the norm will be defined to be norm 1 of x plus m. Okay. Then how should I show that this norm 1 is a norm on x by m? Just to verify 4 conditions, right? No? Okay, try for verifying these 4 conditions so that we can prove that this norm 1 is a norm on the Banach spaces, right? For today's lecture, we will stop. If you have any difficulties, you can ask me because it is not possible to complete this theorem in today's lecture. So let us stop it here. Have you understood the geometrical interpretation of this norm x plus m?
Yes,
If you
ma'am.
have any query, you can ask. If not, shall I stop here? Thank you for being with me for this lecture.